not even listen to it with that ass haircut.
It's okay. Danny Boy's still mad.
Yeah, shaves, he shaves. You know what I'm saying? He's mad. Well, regardless. Oh, I gotta do the intro. Shane, we're recording. You know that?
No, I did not know that, but it's whatever.
Yeah, I hit record, and we were still talking about some business. But anyway, what's going on, guys? I'm not really as enthusiastic as I have to be because I'm pretty tired. Unlike guys, I drink some Red Bull and I still feel fatigued, which is kind of bullshit because the whole point of drinking a Red Bull is to get energized.
Gotta
So I don't
drink.
really know
You got,
why
gotta take pre-workout, my guy.
I got or drink 4 Red Bulls, I guess, because I drink one, I can still doze off. But regardless, what's going on, guys? That was lame. What's going on, guys? It is Will here, back again, once again, for another episode of the Gridiron Talk podcast with my man Shane. Here to talk about all the football news and stuff, all that good stuff. And we got some news. We don't have much, but we do have some. And like always, we're just going to talk about the games, give our key picks or our picks, our games of the week, and all that. So Shane, how you doing, man? How was Florida? Would you like to tell people about that?
Yeah, I balled out, just waiting for a freaking call, and I'm losing my mind. But it was fun. Went to Miami. Won't discuss what I did down in Miami, but it was fun. And
He did not
yeah,
do a line. Don't worry, he did not do a line, right, Shane?
yeah, correct.
All right, good boy, good boy. Nice chancing. So we got a lot of games. This is gonna be our Christmas episode. I would play some Christmas music, but I'm not trying to get copyright strike. So I guess just imagine Christmas music or jingle bells in the background. But
All
we'll
I
talk about
want for
I want for
Christmas
Christmas
is
is
you.
you. All right. But regardless, yeah. So we'll talk about that later. We got some games on Christmas, which is kind of cool. We got games tonight. Probably like right after we record this, a game will be on. We kind of recorded it really late because I took a nap. Had to take a quick fat nap. But we got games on Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So basically the whole weekend besides tomorrow is going to be jam-packed full of football. So Shane, you ready to start this episode, man?
Yeah, man, I'm ready.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really sound myself. Like I said, I'm really tired, but regardless, let's get it. So we got some news. We got a bunch of NFL stars on the COVID list. Just to name a few, there is a bunch. I won't go into all of them because that would probably be like 15 minutes of this Omicron, Decepticon variant. But just to name 4, we got Austin Eckler, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, and Dalvin Cook, among others, on the COVID list. Sucks for Shane, but Bucs wide receiver Chris Godwin is out for the season with an ACL tear, which is terrible. It sucks for the Buccaneers, and hopefully they adjust nicely. Saints rookie quarterback from Notre Dame, and Book, making his first career start with Taysom Hill and Trevor Siemian on the COVID-19 list. Rams running back, second-year player from Florida State, Cam Akers, is returning to practice and should be playing soon after he tore his Achilles last July. It's going to be interesting to see how he comes back, as Achilles injuries are really tough to come back from, especially for a running back. Some players don't even get their same bounce in that jump. So it'll be interesting to see, but he should be coming back sooner rather than later, which is interesting. Maybe that's the spark the Rams need to make be even better. Tampa Bay is going to sign the running back Le'Veon Bell, with Leonard Fournette being out 1 to 2 weeks with a hamstring injury. So that's helps the backfield a little bit. I'm not assuming. I know for a fact that when Lenny comes back, he will obviously be the guy, but he'll be out for most likely the rest of the regular season. So until that, they just want to have Le'Veon Bell back there to help him out, which is a good move, I guess. And lastly, Sam Darnold is coming back for the Panthers. He's off the IR after dealing with a shoulder injury. Cam Newton is expected to be the starter, but he is on a short leash. He's on a short leash. So if Cam Newton does not play up to standards, then the move is going to be to put in Sam Darnold. And Sam Darnold, besides the last stretch of the games, he was playing good, man. He did lead him to a 3-0 start. And I feel like that Sam Darnold might still be the guy for the Panthers. I feel like a couple bad strings of games can't justify a guy's performance. Well, what are your thoughts on that? Do you think Sam Darnold could still be the guy for Carolina or no?
I mean, it's really up in the air. It depends on how he performs when he gets back. But right now it's just unknown. Just because he's been out for a while, and he did have that 3-0 start, but then they started struggling. Especially Darnold, he started struggling. But like you said, you can't base it off of a couple games. So it'll be interesting what Carolina does here.
So yeah, let's get into the games. Obviously, we got the one for tonight, and then like I said, we got some on Christmas. So for tonight, we got this is a really big game. We got the San Francisco 49ers, who are 8-6, visiting the Tennessee Titans, who are 9-5, and the Titans are 3.5-point underdogs in this game. So the Titans are hosting the red hot 49ers as the Titans' grip on the AFC South is slipping away from them. So if I told you around Halloween, Shane, when the Titans are like 7-3 or 7-2, that come Christmas time the AFC South wouldn't be theirs, you probably wouldn't believe me, but that's a fact. It's the Titans have just been hit with the injury bug, one of the hardest, not the hardest, but definitely up there. They lost their best player. They lost one of their key trades in Julio Jones. They lost another receiver, AJ Brown. Their injury list is just very long, and they're missing a lot of key players. And I really feel like that's why the Titans have been struggling. When the 49ers on the flip side have been mostly healthy, and they've had a lot of big players step up, such as George Kittle coming back, stepping up. Deebo Samuel he's a Pro Bowler this year. Jimmy Garoppolo playing like he did when they went to the Super Bowl. Elijah Mitchell, the rookie running back, they have guys step up. So what are your thoughts on this game, Shane, between the 49ers and the Titans tonight on Thursday night?
I think it's a big game. Sorry, holy cow. I think it's a big game. I wouldn't. It's a sleeper game if you really think about it, because the 49ers, they kind of just like sneaked into the playoff race with no one really talking about them, and the Titans, they've been struggling a lot lately. I think I don't even know what their record is the last 5 games. I know it's like 2-3 or something like that, but hopefully come playoff time, when Derrick Henry comes back, Titans are looking like they did in the beginning of the year. But I mean, don't completely sleep on the 49ers. I personally think they'll make the playoffs. Um, Deebo Samuel is amazing. Jimmy G's playing better the second half of the year than he was in the first half, obviously, and they're playing better because of it. So we'll see how this game goes tonight. I think it'll be a close game.
It'll be a good game, man, and I really feel like Jimmy G, he's probably the most hated quarterback in the NFL when he really has no reason to be. You don't see Jimmy G talk to the media like he's that guy. He does his thing. I think he's a game manager, but there's nothing wrong with that. So and with smart coaching, a good defense, Nick Bosa, defensive end for the Panthers, so the 49ers, he's been having a great year, and I really feel like that's another key rejuvenizing factor for San Fran, is that he tore his ACL last year, and he's just been playing great. Definitely in the comeback player of the year, defensive player of the year conversation. But regardless, I think the 49ers are going to win this game tonight, 21-17. I know the Titans got a good front defensive line, and I really feel like to win this game, the Niners are going to be slinging it with Jimmy G. And they got the weapons. They got Samuel, Ayuk, and Kittle. So once again, I got San Fran winning 21-17. What about you, Shane?
I like San Fran, but I personally, I think the Titans are going to pull one out. I really like the Titans defense this year. They're playing a lot better than they were last year, and they've rose to the occasion this year on a lot of, when they were getting questioned, will they play good without Henry? They've been playing a lot better than people expected, because they think Henry's their team, which it's not. They have other great players both on offense and defense. I have the Titans winning this game 24-20. On to our first Christmas Day game. It will be the Browns, who are 7-7, versus the Packers, who are 11-3. Packers are 7.5-point favorites. With a lot of the COVID issues, how will the Browns fare going into Green Bay? Green Bay this year, they're 6-0 at home. Obviously, everybody knows how hard it is to win in Green Bay. The Packers are also they're the top seed in the NFC.
And the NFL. Got the best record.
And in the NFL in general. Um, how do you think this game will go between the Browns and the Packers at Lambeau?
I'm gonna quote what I saw from Aaron Rodgers on the Pat McAfee show on Tuesday. He said, "When you're playing us, when you play the Green Bay Packers, if we get the first seed, when you come us, you're playing in the legendary frozen tundra of Lambeau Field, which is not easy. People really don't understand how hard it is for a team like the 49ers or any team that plays in warmer weather. I know Tampa Bay won last year, but usually teams like Tampa Bay, Miami, any team that plays in like a nice warm area, it's really hard for them to play in Lambeau because of the weather. People don't really understand how much of a factor home field the Green Bay has because their weather is so bad that the Packers are used to it, but no other team really is besides teams like the Lions and maybe the Giants and the Vikings, teams that also have bad weather, but like teams like that don't, they're not used to it. So that's a really big factor. He also said if you're playing us on the road, you're playing the Green Bay fucking Packers. So Aaron Rodgers, he said that on the Pat McAfee show, and he got a good kick out of a lot of people. So you're either playing the Packers or you're playing in Lambeau Field. So either way, you're dealt a bad hand. But the Browns had COVID issues, as you said, Shane, which is just very unfortunate. I thought they would beat the Raiders if they were healthy, but unfortunately they had all those COVID spikes, and they had Nick Mullins, the third stringer, start, and they almost won if it wasn't for Daniel Carlson saving the Raiders' season. But with the Browns, you know what you're getting. You're going to get a run-heavy game with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, a very conservative passing game, and the Packers are probably the opposite. He's going to sling it at Rodgers to Adams, to MVS, to Allen Lazard, to Cobb. So very interesting game we'll see here. I think the biggest factor is what defense will step up. Will Myles Garrett and the Browns step up, or will Jair Alexander and the Packers defense step up? Because on paper, both of these teams' offenses is very good. So I think one key defensive stop will be the momentum shift that these teams need.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Browns are a little bit better than their record. I've said that multiple times this year. I'm really high on their offense. Not so much on Baker Mayfield, but just their running game is so good. Especially Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb's an absolute beast. But like you said earlier, it's hard to play against the Packers, whether you're home or away. Aaron Rodgers, he's MVP candidate this year, like always. Even Aaron Rodgers, like he's older, just like a lot of the other QBs, but he's still really good. My pick for this game, I feel like the Packers offense is just going to be a little bit too much for the Browns defense. I have the Packers winning 34-24. How about you, Will?
I got the Packers also winning by 10. I think Green Bay wins this game at home, 30-20 on Christmas Day, and that's going to be a good gift for all those Packers fans, getting the good win on Christmas. So the other Christmas Day game, this is going to be the night game, is going to be the Indianapolis Colts, who are 8-6, versus the Arizona Cardinals, who are 10-4, and the Cardinals are 1-point favorites in this game. So the Cardinals just need to win a game to clinch a playoff spot, and they tried to last week, and they lost to Detroit. Yikes! That is just the low blow. And they almost, the NFC West is also slipping out of their hands as they're kind of slipping, and the Rams are on the trend up. So that is not looking good. While the Colts are the same thing, but the AFC South, they are looking to steal the AFC South from Tennessee. Unfortunately for the Colts, the Titans have the tiebreaker on them. So even if the Titans lose and the Colts win, the Titans will still be first by a tiebreaker. But that's still not to question the fact that the Colts are one of the hottest teams in the NFL. They got an excellent running back. We all know Jonathan Taylor, household name at this point. It's crazy to see how he fell into the second round. I was high on him since Wisconsin. I knew he would be good, but that's that. Their offensive line's great. That's just what you need for a team like them. Carson Wentz makes the throws he needs to. He's a game manager, but that's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing at all to be a game manager if you're winning games, in my opinion. They got a great receiving core. This team is just very under the radar. And honestly, I could see them making the Super Bowl. That may be a hot take, but they're getting hot at the right time, and that's what a team that makes a good deep playoff run can do. They get hot right in the late November, early December, and they make a run. The Cardinals, on the other hand, are looking like a team that can make a first-round exit. You lose to the Lions, you lost to the Rams. It's looking like if they lose this game, they'll lose 3 in a row. And it sucks because on paper, the Cardinals are also a very good team. They got Kyler Murray. D-Hop is out, but when he's healthy, D-Hop, A.J. Green, James Conner. So what do you think about this game, Shane? Because this seems like on paper it's going to be a very offensive-minded game. What are your thoughts on both of these two teams, this future and this season?
I think for the Colts, I think it's key for their defense to step up like they have been all year against the Cardinals. You know what Kyle Murray can do, both throwing the ball and running it. The Cardinals' running game is pretty good as well. The Colts defense just needs to step up in this game, in my opinion, in order for them to win. The Cardinals have been struggling on offense, as you said earlier. They lost to the Lions, which was very surprising. Carson Wentz, if he keeps doing what he's been doing, most of this year, their offense is really good. Their offense shows they can go toe-to-toe with anybody. You saw it when they faced Tampa Bay earlier this year. Both teams put up, I think they put up like 35-plus points. But for going forward, I see the Colts making the playoffs. Depending on who they see, depends on how long they go out. They beat the Patriots, which was a big win for them. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. There's a lot of teams like the Colts, but this year, but the Colts are a little bit different considering they've had a couple bad things happen to them in early part of the year with games and close games where their record could be totally different from what it is at 8-6 right now. And the Cardinals are just struggling. They need to figure out what's going on with them. But for this week, I have the Colts winning 20-19 in a very close defensive game.
I got the Colts winning too. A little bit different score, 24-21. And any of you sports bettors out there, I am taking Colts +1 all day. I know +1 is almost like a pick 'em, which we'll get into later. We have 2 games actually this week, Shane, that don't have a spread, which is interesting. But I'm taking Colts +1, man. I think the Colts are going to win this game. And I highly doubt that the Cardinals. I mean, it's either the Colts win or they don't. So I'm taking the Colts on the spread. But yeah, 24-21 Colts.
So on to our next game, which to me, this is a pretty interesting game considering how the last couple of weeks have gone for both of these teams. You have the Lions who are 2-11-1 versus the Falcons who are 6-8. The Falcons are 5.5-point favorites. The Falcons are looking to get their first home win this year, which is crazy to me that a team this far into the year haven't even won at their home turf. And the Lions they beat the one of the best teams in the league last week. They beat the Cardinals, as we said. So there's gonna be it's gonna be interesting if the Lions can get another win against this Falcons team. I have 2 questions for you, Will. One, are the Lions? You've seen who they've beaten so far. It's only 2 wins, but can the Lions be better than what they've been showing, considering the games and how close they've lost this year? And 2, do you think the Falcons have any shot, any chance at all to even take a playoff berth from all these other NFC teams?
For the Lions, I think that their strength of victory, like who they've beaten, is very good. Obviously, you factor in their tie as well. They have won/tied very good teams. The Vikings, who are a playoff team, the Steelers, who are just on the outside looking in, and the Cardinals. They got better. No joke. If you look at who the Falcons have beaten. And I'm about to tell you that the Lions have beaten better teams than the Falcons. You're going to call me crazy, man, because they have 2 wins over. They have 2 playoff wins. Our teams over who are in the playoffs, the Lions. When the Falcons the Falcons have beaten the Giants, the Jets, the Dolphins, the Saints, the Jaguars, and the Panthers. Right? They have beaten 2 teams who are debatably in the playoffs. When the Lions have, we'll say 2.5. So arguably the Lions have essentially the same amount of wins in a way as the Falcons, good wins, you know. So my thing is the Lions. To answer your question for the Lions, possibly, we'll have to see. As I've said, I'm a big fan of their coach, especially after how he reacted to the Oxford school shooting. I think he's a great coach. He's just got he's in a very bad situation. The only thing that sucks about the Lions is that they need the Jaguars to win again because right now the Jaguars have the first pick again, which sucks. But the second pick still isn't too bad regardless of who goes. We'll talk about more about that later. But that was the only bad thing that came about their win is that they no longer have the first overall pick. For the Falcons, I think they're going to win, make the playoffs. Not a chance. I'm a big fan of Matt Ryan and Kyle Pitts, Cordero Patterson as well. I think the Falcons are underrated, but as I just said, that all of their wins are against teams that are pretty bad. Besides the Dolphins, they beat the Saints without Jameis Winston. That was their one win against them, and they've just got a bunch of bad wins. You know, they may be 6-8. There's a lot of teams you said about the Browns, Shane. You said, "Oh, I think the Browns are a lot better than their record shows." Well, the contrary is also true. You know, there's a lot of teams that are a lot worse than their record, and I think the Falcons are the prime example of that. They're not a team that should be basically one game off the playoffs. You know, despite that, I think the Falcons get yet another easy win. They get their first win in it. Oh, real quick, fun fact. Did you know that the Braves have won more recently in Atlanta than the Falcons? The Braves. Last time the Braves have played the whole season, won the World Series since the last time the Falcons won in Atlanta. Isn't that crazy?
That's kind of insane, considering
Yeah.
baseball ended up back in October, November. So
their last win in Atlanta was last year during I don't remember, but they had
week 14, week 15, 14, something like that.
Sometime last year was their their last win in Atlanta. So there's that. So I think the Falcons win this game against Detroit. You know, they're the bad team stomper, the Falcons. Their last win in Atlanta was against Las Vegas, November 29th, 2020. So that over a year ago was their last win in Atlanta. But regardless, like I said, I think the Falcons do win this game, get their first win at home over a year. Falcons win 17-13. What about you, Shane?
Yeah, I mean, I think Kyle Pitts, he made it to the Pro Bowl, which is crazy for a 21-year-old. I mean, the same age as us, and he's making the Pro Bowl.
He's a beast.
Yeah, Cordell Patterson. I don't think he made it. I don't remember seeing him in any of the lists, which is crazy to me. But anyways, I have the Falcons winning this game and a little bit closer. 2017 Falcons.
Real quick before we move on, did you know, Shane, that Kyle Pitts has been the first rookie tight end since Jeremy Shockey for the New York Giants to eclipse 800 yards in the season, almost 20 years ago? Isn't that crazy? Think of all the tight ends.
First rookie to do it. First rookie?
Yeah, in 20 years to get over 800 yards. Yep.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, think of all the tight ends that have come: Gronk, Travis Kelce,
Tony Gonzalez.
A lot of tight ends that Tony Gonzalez. Yeah, I think he was before he came in the league in the late 90s. But regardless, it's been 20 years since a rookie tight end's got over 800 yards, which is crazy. But it just shows you how good of a player he is.
He's gonna be that next Mark. I mean, you talk about the Kelce's and you talk about the Kittles. You compare them with all the greats like Gronk's, the Gonzalez, the Gates. You know, all of them. I think Kyle Pitts is gonna be the next generation, the next generational tight end, along with Waller as well. Waller's a great athlete as well, but I think Kyle Pitts is set the standard for the next generation of tight ends to come into the league.
So moving on, we got our next game, which is an NFC East battle against the New York Giants, who are 4-10, against the Philadelphia Eagles, who are 7-7, and the Eagles are 10-point favorites here. So Shane's boy, Jake Fromm, this should have happened weeks ago. I do not like Mike Glennon, but regardless, Jake Fromm is getting his first career start for the New York Giants as Daniel Jones is out for the season with a neck herniation, which you predicted, Shane. They said he was week to week, but you said he was like, I think he'll be out for the year with a neck injury, and he is. So Jake Fromm, the Georgia product, he played all right for his first drive as a New York Giant. He was in a very bad position. Um, but with Jake Fromm at the helm, can the Giants complete the sweep on the Eagles? Last time they played in MetLife, the Giants played possibly the most defensive game of the year, winning 13-7, and Jalen Hurts played terribly. And the Eagles are going to need to ride the run game to the playoffs. We saw that stat on the when we watched the game. The Eagles have the best running offense in the NFL, but the third worst passing offense in the NFL. So my question for you, Shane, is do you think Jake Fromm and the New York Giants complete the sweep on the Eagles this year? And do you think the Eagles can ride their number one ranked rushing attack to the playoffs?
I do. I think Jake Fromm wins this game. I saw the highlights from his game. They weren't, pushing it with Jake Fromm, and I think that's what they need to do. It seems like the Giants try to push Daniel Jones to do more than what he's capable of at this point in his career. And he's just not like at that level yet. And I think that's why the Giants are losing a lot of these games. The Giants, to me, I don't think they're that much of a bad team. Their offense, on paper, looks like a top 15 type of offense with Galladay, Saquon. No, those are two studs that can do. And you could put Saquon out, 5 wide, put him at the wide receiver spot, and he can do, he can probably do more than 90% of the running backs can do out there. Like you said, you talk about that one play against the Chargers he had. Saquon could do a lot of things, but to me, I think Jake Fromm is the answer for the Giants. I feel like, and I know that's a big take, but for me personally, I know what Jake Fromm's capable of more than a lot of NFL fans may, know. Obviously, with him being at Georgia, but I think the Giants can win this game behind Jake Fromm and the right play calling. Giving Saquon the ball, and their defense, like you said, stepping up as well. As for the Eagles, I mean, I can't. You can't rely on just one dimensional type of playing just to get to the playoffs, and even then, winning in the playoffs, it's just not going to happen. You can't just rely on the run game. You gotta have to have a QB that can sling it against these defenses that coming up, and if they do make the playoffs, do it during the playoffs as well. So I don't think the Eagles can make the playoffs this year. There's too many good NFC teams, like we said all year. But yeah.
Who do you think's gonna win this game, Shane?
I mean, like I said, I think Jake Fromm can win this game. I'm not saying Jake Fromm's gonna go out there and throw for 400 yards against the Eagles or anything, but I have the Giants winning this game 20-19.
As sad as it is, I'm a Giants fan, but I don't think we're gonna win this game. I want us to lose out, get a good pick. But I think the Eagles are gonna win this game 24-14. We're just a really bad team. I just want the season to be over.
Well, unlike your team, my team, which we're just about to talk about right now, is not a bad team. The
9-0. 9-0.
Our next game is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are 10-4, versus the Panthers, who are 5-9. The Bucs are 10-point favorites. Tom Brady and the Bucs probably coming off their worst game this year. Obviously, Will just referred that they lost to the Saints 9-0, which pretty embarrassing to me. I'd rather lose to the Lions by 1 point than get shut out and lose by 9 points. But anyways, we talked about it earlier in the show. Sam Darnold is back for the Panthers, but Cam Newton will be starting still. But how will Tampa? I have a question for you, Will. How will Tampa Bay play without Chris Godwin and Leonard Fournette during while they're out with injuries?
It's definitely going to be hard to adjust to, obviously. I mean, Chris Godwin was having arguably one of his best seasons of his career. So it will be hard to adjust to for Tampa Bay. But if it's one thing a Tom Brady team does is adjust. So I think they'll be fine, but it'll suck. And it's kind of good that AB's coming back, so it's not as bad as it could be. but I think Mike Evans, AB, and Scotty Miller will be fine. Could be better, but they won't be terrible. And Leonard Fournette, we'll have to see. It's kind of really hard to do it because unlike the receiving depth they have, their running back depth is up in the air. Like I like Ronald Jones, but he has his flaws with fumbling the ball. Gio Bernard
can't
made
block.
me more
He can't block like Leonard Fournette does either.
right. Gio Bernard's mainly a pass catching back. They get Le'Veon Bell, but he's been playing pretty bad when he was on the Ravens. So it'll be interesting to see how they adjust with all these replacements they have for Fournette. And it's good that they can kind of ease into the running game with a team like the Panthers. I know their defense is on the better side, but overall they're still a bad team. So if there's any game where they need a rebound without two key players, this is the game they need. They're not playing a team like the Packers, they're not playing the Chiefs, they're playing the Panthers. So this could be a good time to test some stuff out, maybe try different packages or stuff. But this is a good game for them to, like I said, adjust.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like I said, it'll be different with the running back position, like you said. You like Ronald Jones. I'm not a big fan of him. I don't. He's not trustworthy with the ball, and he can't block. A lot of plays Tom Brady assigns in the huddle. If they're not running the ball, usually they're blocking or they're doing check and release type of routes. So it'll be interesting how much they use Le'Veon Bell, Ronald Jones, see what type of different sets and formations they do. I still think Tampa Bay is going to dominate this game. When you have Tom Brady and you have that type of offense, you can always, unless you're playing the Saints, apparently in the regular season, you can always bet on the Buccaneers to put up a lot of points. I have the Buccaneers winning 28-15. How about you, Will?
Yeah, I got the Buccaneers winning by another comfortable amount, 31-16. Again, what does Tom Brady do, Shane? He bounces back. So you gotta have faith in the GOAT to do that. Our next
Always.
game is an NFC North, AFC North. Jesus Christ, I turned into a casual football fan for a second. An AFC North battle between the Baltimore Ravens, who are 8-6, and the Cincinnati Bengals, who are 8-6. This is one of the best games of the week. Spoiler alert: there is so many that me and Shane did not pick this game, but this is easily up there. Ravens were once the number one seed in the AFC. Now they're not even in the playoffs, which is crazy. Can they finish strong despite being hit with injuries? That is, they've been injured all year, and it just keeps on getting worse and worse and worse. They lost their starting running back. They lost their second string running back. They lost their third string running back. They lost their All-Pro Pro Bowl corner Marcus Peters. They lost their other Pro Bowl corner Marlon Humphrey. They lost Lamar Jackson with his ankle injury. They lost Sammy Watkins due to COVID. It's like their list is going on and on and on and on with injuries. And somehow the Ravens are still 8-6. And not to mention, if they convert on two two-point conversion plays, they would be 10-4 right now, not 8-6. So it is crazy to see how different two plays can change a season. The Bengals are one of the most bipolar teams in football. They beat the Broncos last week, but they sputtered. And Lamar's coming back, so we'll have to see how they adjust. I think the Bengals are going to win this game mainly because of how well Jamar Chase had his best game of his rookie career last time they played the Ravens. He had like 200 yards. Absolutely crazy performance. But what are your thoughts on this, Shane? Do you think the Bengals are legit, or do you think the Ravens are going to take back the AFC North and win it for a third straight year? Or my bad, their second time in 3 years.
So I think the Ravens are going to win. I think the Ravens will be fine. I think they'll make the playoffs. I do think the Bengals are legit. I just don't think they're good enough to win this game. The Ravens, like you said, two different types of plays, and they could be 10-4. I like how gutsy the Ravens are with their play calling, but sometimes you gotta look at it, long term. Like how can this affect me? Depending on what happens at the end of the year. depending on how the team plays the rest of the year. I think the Ravens will be fine though. I think they're gonna win out, and I think they will make the playoffs. As for the Bengals, I think I think the Bengals obviously need to win out, but I just don't see that happening. I have the Ravens winning this game 23-20.
I got the Bengals winning this game. I think Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow are going to have another big game. I think the Bengals win this game 27-21, and they essentially lock up the AFC North and sweep the Baltimore Ravens.
And on to our next game, which is, kind of pretty much one-sided. When you look at it on paper, we have the Chargers, who are 8-6, versus the Texans, who are 3-11. The Texans are 13-point underdog, or no, my bad, 10-point underdogs. After dropping a tough overtime loss to Kansas City, the Chargers need a bounce-back game to stay alive in the AFC playoff hunt. Their big problem here is they need to stop losing games. They started off the year great, and ever since then they've been, like you said, they've been like the Bengals. They've been, winning some and then losing some. They need to get back on their winning ways like they did in the beginning of the year. So I have a question for you, Will. Obviously Kansas City, they started off really bad, and now, I think they only need to win one more game to win the division. Will the Chargers bounce back this week and then the next couple following weeks to make a playoff hunt or a playoff race?
What was your question again? Sorry, you kind of cut out.
My question was, do you think the Chargers have what it takes to win out and secure a playoff spot?
Oh, easily. Yeah, easily. They easily can. It's just the fact that, like, will they? You know what I'm saying? Because they just need to stop losing games they easily can win. Last week against the Chiefs, that's an easily winnable game. Against the Patriots, a game that they easily won that they just couldn't. So they just need to execute better. That's all. And if they do that, I think they're one of the best teams in the NFL. But they can't, and that's what happens when you got a young team led by a young quarterback. No fault to Justin Herbert. It happens to them all, but I think they'll be fine, yes. To answer your question, Texans side of the ball, they beat the Jaguars. Big whoop. They're a really bad team. One underrated player on the Texans that does not get any love is Brandon Cooks. And when you think of a good wide receiver, man, who, like I said, does not get any love whatsoever, it's Brandon Cooks. He's been on so many different teams. He has, been on the Saints, the Patriots, the Rams. Now he's on the Texans. He's played in 2 Super Bowls. He's just been great. He's had a 1,000-yard season every year since 2015 with the Saints. And I expect, oh, my bad, he didn't have it with the Rams too. But, he's had like 6 1,000-yard seasons in 10 years, or 6 and, hold on, 5 and 8 seasons. And if it's 6 and 9, if he gets it this year. So people don't talk about him, man, but he's really good, don't you think?
Yeah, I think he's really underrated. I think that it's kind of funny to me. When I think of Brandon Cooks, I think of him playing with the Saints. I also, side note, I think of him when I think of Brandon Cooks, I think of him getting laid out in the Super Bowl. But that's a different.
Rip.
Yeah, rip. That's something different. But I think he's a great player. As far as the Texans, they're just a terrible team. I have nothing good to say about the Texans. They just suck. It's a different type of bad that they are. Like obviously the Lions are bad, but they have the young team that's capable of winning games. They need to start winning them. But the Texans, they're just bad. Like everything from the front office to the players, outside of Brandon Cooks, they're just bad.
Who do you think's going to win this game? I know it's pretty obvious, but
I have the Chargers winning it in a pretty comfortable way, 30-13.
I got the sorry, I zoned out. I got the Chargers win this game as well, 34-10. It's going to be an easy win for them. I think they'll make their playoff statement and they get this easy win. Let's go on to the next game, which is a game with more playoff implications, which is a common theme if you haven't noticed, Shane. We got the LA Rams who are 10-4 against the Minnesota Vikings who are 7-7, and the Vikings are 3.5-point underdogs. So Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford are proven to be one of the NFL's best QB to wide receiver duos in the National Football League. Now can the Rams win the NFC West with the Arizona struggling? Yes. I mean, like I've been high on the Rams ever since they traded for Matthew Stafford. Easily, yes. On the debate, easily. Yep, yes. But the question I have for you, Shane, is how will Minnesota play without Dalvin Cook? He's their best offensive player. No shade to Kirk Cousins, but when you think of the player on offense, from like I guess top to bottom, it goes Dalvin Cook, Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, Kirk Cousins. So with Dalvin Cook on the COVID-19 list, do you think the Vikings will be affected by this a lot or not really?
In this game, yes. Going throughout the rest of the season, no. But during this game, yes, because the Rams, the defense is playing lately how they're supposed to be playing, with Von Miller, Jalen Ramsey, and of course Aaron Donald. Like you said, earlier in the podcast, the Colts they're getting hot at the right time, and so are the Rams. And I think the Rams are a more dangerous team than possibly any other team in the NFL, minus the Buccaneers and the Patriots, or not the Patriots, the Packers when they're on a hot streak. Just because they have so many good players. Cooper Kupp, he's aiming for Calvin Johnson's receiving record this year. I don't know if you knew that or not, Will, but he's about, I believe, 330 yards away from breaking the record. So it's very possible he could break it. Like you said, Matthew Stafford, he's a stud. And this team overall is just, there's no really weak point in this Rams team on paper, but for this game, I think they glide through a victory, and I think the Rams win this game 30-20.
I think the Rams gonna have a somewhat easy game too, a little bit closer. I still think the Rams pull through. Rams win 28-24.
Now, this next game, I feel like personally, spoiler, is the biggest game this week.
That's what my boy D Shapes thinks too. Your boy Shane, your agent D Shapes.
Oh yeah,
your agent.
Yeah. Oh yeah, D Shapes. Yeah.
He's pissed. He's still pissed about yesterday. But anyway, continue.
Inside joke. Anyways, I think this game could be one of the biggest games of the year. In terms of playoff implications, we have the Bills who are 8-6 versus the Patriots who are 9-5, and the Patriots are 2.5-point favorites. The Patriots have a chance to lock up the AFC East with a rookie quarterback, which is crazy. The Bills have been struggling a lot since they lost the Patriots a couple weeks ago. My question for you, I have two questions for you, Will. One,
excuse me, Jesus.
Can the Patriots get the top seed in the AFC? And two, can the Bills get back on track and win, or not win, but make a strong playoff push for the rest of the year?
So do you want me to tell you what a Patriots fan thinks or what the truth is?
I want you to tell me what you think.
All right, because I'm not a Patriots fan. Well, we got some Patriots fans. They're kind of like Steelers fans, tier list wise. If Steelers fans are like the top of the top with their idiotic takes, the Patriots fans are just below them. You got the people thinking Mac Jones is better than Josh Allen, then I just walk away from the conversation and block them. Mac Jones is better than Patrick Mahomes. Like, I'm just hearing all this. Matt Judon's a top 3 pass rusher, which he's been having a great year, don't get me wrong, but you just got all these crackheads thinking that all these Patriots players are the best because they have a good year. But I think the Patriots are in prime position for another dynasty. Just because the Patriots are good this year, I think they're not there yet. Mac Jones is still a rookie. So you have to look at it from the future. Their future looks bright. Do I think they make the playoffs? Yes. Do I think they go far in the playoffs? No. That's not a bad thing, though, because their future is extremely bright. Again, they're doing it with a rookie quarterback and with a couple free agent moves, and I could say the Patriots are real contenders next year. But I still think the Bills' division is the AFC East. They've been kind of dealt a couple bad hands. They kind of gotten screwed over a couple times. But I think the Bills win this game, even though it's Foxborough, a big rivalry game. I just think I don't think the Bills lose this game. Josh Allen's just going to come back, and I think this is the game that the Bills finally get back on track after struggling for somewhat a long time. I think the Bills win this game 23-20. It should be a good game, but it will be a good game. But do you have anything else to add, Shanson? Or
I have a couple things. One, I think you're right about the Patriots. About not being there quite yet. I think they'll make a little bit in a push into the playoffs. I think if they get the number 1 seed, it'll obviously help them, but eventually they're going to run into a team that their offense can't keep up with. More than likely, it'll probably be the Chiefs, but we'll see. And another thing, did you see that Lamar Jackson got chose over Josh Allen in the QB for Pro Bowl?
Really?
Yeah. If you look at it, I know you're a big stats guy. Josh Allen.
That's crazy, Shanson. That's crazy,
Josh
man.
Josh Allen has 15 more TDs than Lamar Jackson, and overall stat wise, he's having a 10 times better year than Lamar Jackson has.
That's crazy, man.
Pretty insane.
Are you talking about Lamar? Are you talking about Lamar Jackson, the quarterback, or the Lamar Jackson, the cornerback for the New York Jets?
Talk about Lamar Jackson, the quarterback.
Oh, okay, yeah. I was gonna say if a cornerback made the Pro Bowl over a quarterback in that way, that's a little whack to the stack. But that's crazy. But I think Lamar Jackson's still pretty good. But over Josh Allen, yikes, that's a little bit of a question.
I say this because I know you're a big stats guy. And I know as soon as you look at the stats, you're probably gonna go insane, and probably like email like the NFL headquarters and complain that Josh Allen isn't in.
Yeah.
But anyways,
I'm gonna also email Goodell of the fact that Trayvon Diggs made the Pro Bowl over Adoree Jackson for the Giants. All right. So kind of crazy. People think Trayvon Diggs is a lockdown corner. He's not. Okay. He's not. He's not better than Jalen Ramsey too. I heard that. I saw that on Twitter.
Oh my God! Jeez! Don't get me
started. You just gotta get off of Twitter, man. Yeah, or you got the people like our boy Hoff who thinks PFF ratings are stupid. TJ Watt, come on. The PFF ratings don't lie. But anyway, we're getting off topic talking about the PFF ratings and the Hofster. Bills win this game 23-20. What do you think, Jansen?
I love the Bills. I hate their fans, but I think the Patriots are winning this. I think Patriots win this in a game-winning field goal, 21-20.
Our next game is Jesus. These teams are bad. These teams are really bad. Shanson, you're probably better than some players on these teams. Like if they need some help at the line.
I know I'm better than some. I know I'm better than a lot of players on both of these teams.
Yeah, you think so?
I know that. I know. I don't think so. I know so.
I know so. He knows so. So why aren't you on these teams, bitch? Answer the question. Why aren't you on these teams, bitch?
Oh wait. What'd you say? My bad. You cut out a little bit.
Why aren't you on these teams if you're better than these players, bitch?
Because they haven't signed me yet. That's why.
All right. Well, anyway, these two teams are the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are 2-12, versus the Jets, who are 3-11. Low key, I'm not gonna lie. I was gonna go to my bathroom real quick and flush a toilet to imitate the toilet bowl, but then I remember my mic is wouldn't hear it. But the spread for this game is even. That means there is no favorite. That's how it's yikes.
How bad these teams are.
That's how bad they are. There's no one's even favored to win, which is whack. Keep it a stack. But the top two picks of the draft, me for the first time since 2015, when they're both quarterbacks. Last time this happened, Shane, so that was your boy Jameis.
Yeah.
Marcus Mariota. Yeah.
We don't talk
You
about
missed
that here.
you
We don't
you
talk
missed
about that here.
Jameis.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do. You said he's better than Brady.
You're funny.
He's got a better arm.
Mm.
So the question is between the top two picks, Trevor Lawrence out of Clemson and Zach Wilson on the BYU, which quarterback do you think gets the dub? That's the question.
I think Trevor Lawrence, just because I think the Jaguars are overall a better team. I can't stand Trevor Lawrence. I hated him in college. I hate him now. But I do think the
Why?
Jaguars win this game. There's really not much to say about these two interesting teams. The Jets suck. The Jaguars suck. It's just, who makes the less errors in this game, who throws the less interceptions in this game between Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson, and I think it's Trevor Lawrence. So I think the Jaguars win this game in a very low-scoring game, 14-13.
Why don't you like Trevor Lawrence?
I just don't. I think he's overrated, man. I don't think he's that great of a QB. I think he only got so much hype because he went to Clemson. I feel like if I just don't know. I just don't think he's as good as people think he's gonna be.
Wow, I thought that was Zach Wilson because he's trash. Like he's really just like he's like
Zach Wilson.
trash.
I don't think Zach Wilson is as good as people say he was going to be either. But I don't think this recent QB class produced a lot of good talent outside of Mac Jones and Justin Fields. But
Looks like
you
you've
take
been
what you can
you've
take,
been
I guess.
you've been hanging out with your agent too much, haven't you, Jameson? Mac
Nah,
Jones.
listen.
He rubs it off on you, pause, doesn't he?
Pause.
Did he give you some of those pills?
Inside jokes that the fans here don't need to know about. Will, come on now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Besides the people up north that have to deal with that menace to society, right? In the area. In the North Country.
Anyways, Will, what's your prediction on this game?
Oh yeah. We're talking about football here. Right. I forgot about that. I got the Jaguars winning in a very low-scoring, boring game, 17-14. What about you, Shanson?
Yeah, I have the Jaguars winning 14-13.
Really?
Onto our next game. We have two teams who, look like we just said Justin Fields, he's featured in this game, but we have the Bears who are 4-10 versus the Seahawks who are 5-9. The Seahawks are 6.5-point favorites. The Seahawks, for the first time in the Carroll Wilson era, they will have a losing record, and I believe that's been 10 years since the Seahawks had a losing record under Carroll and Wilson. I have one big question. Well, I have two questions for you, Will. A small one and then a big one. The small question is, do you think Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll, do you think the success they've had is starting to run out a little bit? Do you think it's more Pete Carroll's fault, Russell Wilson's? Do you think it's their defense? And the big question is, when will Matt Nagy get fired from coaching the Bills?
He should have been fired already. I don't really know why he's still on it. See, the fact that the Bears GM still thinks he's a good coach is really baffling because I mean he's not a good coach. Like it really it's funny. Like what really like is amazing to me is this isn't just for the Bears. This is for all the teams that are bad. Is that I know for a fact that they want to listen to their fans when because the fans buy the tickets. The fans are the reason why these teams are running. And they don't listen to the fans when they want to get rid of a coach. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you look on the Bear, they're chanting "Fire Nagy" at Chicago Bulls games, at high school football games in Chicago, and they don't listen. So I don't really understand, like, why they are not listening to the fans. Because then again, Shane, if you don't have no fans, you don't have a team, I just really think that's not just for the Bears. That's for all the teams where the fans are spamming "Fire their coach" or "Fire the GM" and they don't care. I just think the most NFL owners are just old baboon monkeys that don't really care, and they think, they just like bring in random dudes from the streets and be like, I mean, he's pretty good, and they don't care. Like the Texans head coach, like who is that dude? Like literally, you hired You hired this dude thinking he would help your franchise and to keep Deshaun Watson, but then you just say, whatever, who cares? We're trash anyway. But the question is, he should have already been fired. I don't really know. ASAP, whose fault is it that the Seahawks aren't very good? I think, honestly, I think it's Russ's fault. You know, he had an injury, and then he just really hasn't been the same since the injury. You know, and it just sucks. You know, but hopefully their season can be salvaged by at least winning some more games, maybe sneaking into the playoffs. But they're just trying to use Russell Wilson up before he probably requests a trade. But I think the Seahawks do win this game 20-10. What about you, Shane?
Yeah, I think the Seahawks also win this game 17-10.
Jesus Christ. The
Here
next
we
game
go.
we have.
Here we go.
Shane, I'm gonna need you to be quiet, man. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry,
All right.
I love it when you talk about, your favorite team.
Yeah. Well, I love you know. Yeah. Okay. We have the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are 7-6-1, versus the Kansas City Chiefs, who are 10-4, and the Chiefs are 8.5-point favorites. They should be 100-point favorites because everyone knows the Steelers aren't winning this game. How will the Chiefs play without most likely Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill? You know, one good thing that T.J. Watt is good at is spreading COVID because he probably infiltrated the Chiefs practice facility and gave COVID to Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill, keep the stack. But that's that. How will they adjust? I think they'll be fine. The Steelers suck. And it's Patrick Mahomes. He's a dog. How can the Steelers defense carry them to the playoffs or potentially an AFC North title? Now, if you asked a Steelers fan, they would literally drop down their knees and say yes. T.J. Watt, yes. Joe Hayden, yes. Cameron Hayward. If you talk to anyone that has half a brain cell or half a chromosome, they're going to say most likely not, because the NFL nowadays is not a defensive-oriented league. I mean, anyone that watches a game of football knows that most teams have a good offense over a good defense. You know, common sense. But most Steelers fans think that this team is the second coming of Christ because they started off 12-0 last year and they literally got mollywopped after. But what are your thoughts on this game, Shane? Because we all know that T.J. Watt is the best pass rusher since Lawrence Taylor. He's a better pass rusher than Jesus Christ himself, according to Steelers fans. What are your thoughts on that?
Listen, I would lay T.J. Watt out. But anyways, Steelers, I don't think Steelers are making the playoffs. I'm just going to say it right out there. Steelers fans, you're going to, cry. I hope the Chiefs absolutely pound your cheeks this week.
Pause.
And pause. Yeah, I don't listen. I think the Steelers, they need to get rid of Big Ben. They need to get a better O-line. Their defense is fine. They just need, Mike Tomlin. I mean, I respect Mike Tomlin. He's a great coach. Obviously, he's never had a losing record. But he just doesn't have the players to be considered good. Big Ben needs to retire, which I'm pretty sure he announced earlier in the year that he was going to. So, you get your wish there, Will. Maybe if Chase Claypool stopped, dancing with 15 seconds left, maybe the Steelers would have a couple more wins. But who knows? I'm not TikToker. Well, low key I am. But anyways, I hope Patrick Mahomes absolutely obliterate the Chiefs or the Steelers defense. That's another thing. The Chiefs defense, they've been playing so much better than they have early in the year, and that's why the Chiefs are 10-4. Their defense is really helping them out this year. And I think the Chiefs win this game easily 30-10. How about you, Will?
Shane, did you know that Mike Tomlin won a Super Bowl with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
Yeah, no, too, didn't he?
Yeah, he was their defensive backs coach. You do that?
Yeah, that's why their defense was so good, because Mike Tomlin's a great coach.
Yeah.
He may be the Steelers coach. You may hate him for it, but he is a great coach. You can't lie about that.
Can't dog on him for that. That is a fact. So I think the Chiefs win this game 27-17. Regardless if Tyreek Hill or Travis Kelce don't play, the Chiefs are just on a roll. Chiefs win 27-17, Jansen.
Anyways, on to the next game. We have the Broncos, who are 7-7, versus the Raiders, who are also 7-7, and this is the other game that doesn't have a favorite. Both of these teams started out really good, really hot. They started out 3-0, and since then they've been 4-7. Um, and they're both fighting for a playoff spot. Now, my question here for you, Will, is which team will stay alive longer, and which team do you have more trust in making the playoffs if either one of these teams do?
Yeah. So there's the thing on that. I don't know, man. But I don't know. I personally think the Raiders, but this is going to be arguably one of the greatest games this week. Shanson, what's that noise?
It's just my phone. My bad.
Oh, I thought I heard like punching noise. I thought you were punching a wall or something, Shanson.
No, it's just my phone. I was reading something real quick, but continue.
Oh yeah, Shanson's reading something during the podcast. Course.
I'm a reader.
How you doing, Shane? Good.
I'm doing great. Well, how are you?
I'm doing good. Oh yeah. The podcast. Yeah. Broncos Raiders. Yeah. I don't know. Honestly, like going back on the topic, this will be a very close game. I don't really think again. There's no favorite, but like I could see this game swinging either way. I do think the edge goes to the Raiders with Derek Carr and Josh Jacobs. Um, I just really think that's it. I know the Broncos have a good run game, and that's one of the Raiders' weaknesses, the run defense. But Daniel Carlson clutches through again with the Raiders. I think they win the game-winning field goal again. Las Vegas wins 20-17 and keeps their season alive. What about you, Shane?
I mean, I'm in the same boat as you are. I don't really know between these two teams. I'm starting to like the Broncos a lot more this year. So I'm going to just have to go with the Broncos. I have them winning this game 23-17.
Yeah. Well, next game we got is one of the biggest games of the year. So this game has a lot of implications, and it could determine a playoff spot. Sorry, I lose my train of thought. I don't even know what's happening. So we have Sunday night prime time. The Washington No Names, who are 6-8, versus the Dallas Cowboys, who are 10-4, and the Cowboys are 10.5-point favorites. So the Washington was fighting COVID issues in their organization. They had like a third stringer play against the Eagles, and they obviously lost. And the Cowboys are looking to clinch the NFC East with a win. And they've been playing great all year, Dallas. Can Washington rebound against their longtime rival? I don't think so. I think the Cowboys are just on a roll. They're currently the second seed in the NFC, and they're just playing great. I don't really know what team is better than the Cowboys right now in the NFC East. But what do you think about this game, Shane? Do you think there's any chance that Washington upsets the Cowboys, or do you think this is going to be an easy win for the Cowboys?
I think there is a possibility of Washington upsetting them. I just don't think it'll happen. I think they lost 27-21 a couple weeks ago to the Cowboys. So they played well against the Cowboys to a certain extent last time they played them, but I just like you said, the Cowboys been playing good all year. I have the Cowboys win this game 27-20.
27-20. I got the Cowboys winning again. A bit more of a blowout. I know we're kind of going by quick on this one, but it's just going to be. I think it's going to be such a one-sided game. I got the Cowboys win this game 31-14.
Now on to our last game here this week. We have the Dolphins, who are 7-7, versus the Saints, who are also 7-7. The Dolphins are 1.5-point favorites. Two teams who struggled. Well, mainly the Saints are the only team that struggled midseason. The Dolphins kind of started off really bad. My bad. My question for you here, Will the Dolphins have I know we ask a lot of questions about playoffs and these teams, but there's a lot of teams where it's goes by the week whether they make the playoffs or not. But it's another one of those questions. So one of my questions for you, Will, is will the Dolphins secure a playoff spot? And how will the Saints? And my second question is, how will the Saints play with their rookie quarterback starting?
Do I think the Dolphins made the playoffs? No, I think they got hot too late. One and two, the fact that the AFC playoff race is just so heavily contested, I don't think they will. But next year, I think the future does look really good for the Dolphins, considering how good they were last year. How the Saints play with a rookie QB? I think pretty bad. I know they got Alvin Kamara, but besides that, the Saints offense has kind of been not the greatest, especially with Michael Thomas not coming back. But it'll be interesting to see. Maybe Ian Book makes a case, makes a Tom Brady like story, and makes. I know every quarterback doesn't have a story like that. It's very few and far between, but you never know. This could be a start of a potential franchise guy for the Saints. They drafted him for a reason in the fourth round. They drafted him to maybe be Jameis Winston's backup one day. And if he plays good for the season, leads into a playoff berth, I don't see why he doesn't become the starter next year. It makes sense, you know. But I think that Ian Book, I wanna say he'll do good, but I don't think he will against a team like the Dolphins and their somewhat good defense. I got the Dolphins win this game 20-13, and Tua Tagovailoa. Did you know he's the most accurate quarterback in the league, completing about 70% of his passes, which is just really good. I think people are gonna have to stop slandering Tua. It's Monday Night Football too, so I think on primetime Tua is gonna somewhat quiet the haters, get a win, and make the Dolphins go up to 8-7 and keep their playoff hopes alive for yet another week. Dolphins win 20-13. What about you, Shane?
Yeah, I agree with you. I have the Dolphins win this game 23-17.
So that is going to conclude the Gridiron talk, but we got our games of the week, and then we got our picks record. My game of the week is the Miami Dolphins versus the New Orleans Saints. Why do I think that? Because I just think this is the great playoff matchup with a lot of implications. Obviously, both teams are struggling for a spot. The Saints are currently the 7th seed. The Dolphins are on the outside looking in the AFC. So although their records are not the greatest, I think that this is a very big playoff implication match for both teams on prime time too. So what's your game of the week, Shane?
Mine is the Buffalo Bills versus the New England Patriots. I think same reason as yours is for the Miami Dolphins and the Saints. I think overall the winner of this game can affect how the whole playoffs in general will look. If the Bills win, it knocks the Patriots down to the I believe the wild, or not the wild card, but it knocks them down a step. And it brings a new team into the wild card picture possibly. So you just never know with these type of games. It'll be interesting and it'll be a good game. So we'll see.
And the picks record, me and Shane are tied at 66-51, which is interesting to see. We'll see who takes the lead after this week. But that's going to conclude Week 16 episode of the Gridiron Talk podcast. Shane, do you have anything else to add before I wrap everything up with the episode?
No, just I hope everybody has a nice Christmas. Well, I believe we'll see. I believe we'll be back on here before New Year's. So if not, I hope you guys have a happy New Year's. Stay safe. Yeah, just enjoy Christmas, man.
Yeah, that's gonna be it, man, guys. Yeah, guys. Hope you all have a great year or a great Christmas. Spend it with your friends and family. Be safe out there with the with COVID. Despite cases are going up, so just everyone just be safe out there. Have a good Christmas. I hope everyone gets what they asked for, and we'll see you guys next week for yet another holiday, I guess, edition of this podcast where we'll talk about all the games before the new year, man. So that's that. Guys, hope you all have a great week. Don't forget to watch the football on Christmas. We got 2 big games, 2 good games too. A lot of good games this week as well. So don't forget to watch that. And it's college football bowl season too. So if you guys like college football, don't forget to watch the bowl games this coming week. So that's gonna be it.
Watch Georgia beat Michigan.
That's next week, Shaneson. You baboon.
It's still gonna beat them, so it won't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright, Shaneson, you're just a dirty dog. That's what you are.
Yeah.
What am I gonna do with you, Shaneson? He's my, his nickname, guys, is my pet rocket.
I think you need to wrap up the podcast here, Will.
Oh, okay, yeah. Take it easy, guys. Have a good one and have a great Christmas. See you guys.